You think Nick Taylor got Adam Hadwin a gift for getting tackled?
That's a good question. Does Hadwin blame Taylor at all for getting crushed on 18 at Oakdale? If he misses that putt, Hadwin doesn't get tackled.
Right.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring him in here. Canadian pro golfer. You've been a stud on tour all year. Here is Adam Hadwin. You ever look back on that, Adam? Like if Taylor didn't make that putt, you wouldn't have got tackled the way you got tackled.
That's 100% Nick's fault.
Yes.
I think we can all agree on that. Yeah. I mean, if he didn't do something so spectacular and so great for the Canadian game, then I wouldn't have been running out there with champagne. So I think it's all Nick's fault.
Yeah.
How did you have the champagne ready to go? Like, was this pre-planned or was it sitting around? How did you have that?
It was slightly pre-planned, yes. When they went into the playoff, we were all standing there, waiting for him to come up 18 the first time around. And one of the guys from Golf Canada came over and said, "Hey, I've got a few bottles of champagne. Do you guys want to spray him if he wins?" And I had asked Nick's manager if he'd be okay with it first. I didn't want to do anything that Nick might not want. He said, "Yeah, I think it'd be great." So we had planned to, from the very first playoff hole, it was in the works. And then, I mean, there was a whole coordination of having to get them over to 9 once they switched holes, just in case he won over there. And I wasn't sure where it was in that moment. We kind of lost track as the holes kept going, and but it was right there. So when he made that putt, I took a moment to kind of grab it and get everything uncorked and started running over.
So when they went to play 9, I think that was the third hole of the playoff, you didn't bring the champagne with you?
I personally did not carry it, but I think somebody else brought it for us and had it there just in case it ended there. Yeah, so they were prepared for it. Corey and Mike were also supposed to take champagne and spray it as well, but somehow I'm the only one that ended up with it, got tackled. But, story for another day, I guess.
Yeah, no kidding. Obviously, there were a lot of supporters there for Fleetwood, too. I think Lowry was there, Rose was there, I think Hatton was there. Like, if Fleetwood had have won, would you have been cool if they took the champagne?
We never discussed that.
Okay.
But I mean, I guess, celebrate their boy winning. It would have been kind of awkward for us to use it if that had happened. But, I would have been cool with it.
Okay.
Well, Adam, it seems like all you guys, the Canadian players on tour, are really tight, very supportive of each other. Like, where does that all stem from?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with there's such a small group of us, right? Like, a lot of guys on tour represent their hometowns and the areas they're from. And to a certain extent, we do that as well. But a lot of the time, we represent Canada. And so with only 7, 8 of us in total from the entire country playing on tour, it's very easy for us to get together during weeks, play practice rounds together, share a few meals, all that kind of stuff. And so I think that's probably the biggest reason why, all of us support each other in the events that we're in.
So when you consider what's been going on with Canadian golf and you look at the week you just had in Detroit, and you've been in the running, a bunch this week. There's already been 4 Canadian winners on tour this year. 5 of you are in the top 40 of the FedEx. I don't know if there's like a lead dog. I don't know if there feels like there is like a leader of the pack among, the Canadian golfers right now. But obviously you're focused on yourself and how well you're playing. But how much pride do you take in what seems to be somewhat of a historical season on tour for the Canadians?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly shaping up to be that way. Like you mentioned, 4 winners already, I think, ties a record in a year. I don't know how many guys have made tour championship all in one year. It can't be more than a couple. Mm-hmm. And we're getting close to sending, like you said, 3 or 4 of us in there. 5 of us, really. Yeah, it's a very special group to be a part of. Obviously, I want to be the top dog. I think we all do. Got a lot of work to do. Guys are playing well. Corey has kind of been that guy for a few years now, and Nick is having, his standout year. So, just keep playing hard, and like I said, it's a special group to be a part of, and it's so great to see everybody playing well. It makes it that much more special for us.
With Adam Hadwin, so you were in the playoff yesterday or on Sunday with Ricky and Morikawa, and it was a really strange, week because of the weather, and specifically Sunday, where you're in the final group. You're going off with Ricky, you're going off with Pendrith, and you guys have to go off early. Obviously, it didn't affect you through 18 holes. You played really well, and you get into the playoff. But in general, how difficult can that be to have to adjust your plan? Like, you guys naturally would have gone out, 150, 250 on a Sunday afternoon, and you really had to change things up on Sunday because of the weather.
Yeah, normally it would have been, late afternoon, 6 o'clock finish, whatever TV had allotted. But we had when we finished on Saturday evening, we had an idea of what the tee times would be. They let us know in scoring afterwards. And so obviously the mindset quickly shifts to, instead of having some time that evening to kind of settle down and get ready for the next day, it shifted into, all right, I gotta get ready right away.
Right.
So yeah, I don't think it really affects anything though. I mean, at the same time, it's just golf. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the same whether you go to 2 o'clock or whether you go at 9 o'clock like we did. Still playing in the final group, still playing with Ricky. Obviously had Pendrith as well. And so you're just looking to play as best as you can. And it was nice to be in contention again. It's been a while. Nick and I, the last time I think that I've been in contention was at Zurich when I partnered with Nick, and we came from so far back that we weren't really technically in contention per se. And so it was nice to be, up near the top of the leaderboard for much of the event and kind of feel what that feels like again.
With Adam Hadwin, and as we mentioned, and as everyone knows, you end up in the playoff with Ricky and with Morikawa, like two giants of the game. Morikawa's won a lot early in his career. Ricky, most people are understanding of his journey and how he kind of dipped, and now he's really been hunting for wins for quite some time. And I was somewhat fascinated by your body language and how you were handling everything coming down the stretch. When Ricky threw that dart on 18, I saw you look back, and I think you gave him a smile and a clap. And I think there's video of you when Ricky hits his putt, you're clapping for him. And I'm curious, what that experience is like, because obviously you're there to win. You feel like you played really well. But is that just kind of the gentleman's agreement on tour? Like, is there a way to be happy for the other guy, even though, he's the one winning, and in that moment you're on the outside looking in?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any sort of, agreement or anything like that. I mean, I can only speak to my actions and what goes through my head. But I felt like I did all I could in that playoff. At that point, everything was outside of my control. I hit 2 good shots in there. I hit a good putt that just missed. I hit just a fraction too hard to take the break, and I became a spectator, really, at that point in time. And I mean, everybody has known what Ricky has gone through, the season that he's having before this win. And so I'm just standing there appreciating good golf. I feel like at the end of the day, regardless of my personal situation on the golf course, I can always appreciate good golf. And for him to stand up there on 18 and slam a wedge in there, get into the playoff, not hit a great drive, hit the closest one of the three of us, in there and make a putt when he needed to, I can appreciate that. I know how hard that is to do. And I was happy for him. He's one of the nicest guys out on tour. He's done a lot for this game. I was thinking even during the round, as we were playing, looking at all the kids, and it was a very pro-Ricky crowd. I 100% wanted to play spoiler, and I don't think the crowd would have been happy about it. But, he pulled it off. He did what he had to do. And again, it was outside of my control, and I was just appreciating the moment. And I thought he deserved to be clapped for. I mean, it was a good moment.
So you, Ricky, and Morikawa are 24 under after 4 rounds of golf. Just curious, like at what point in the week you arrive on the property, at what point do you kind of realize there's going to be a very good opportunity to go very low this week? Or do you not even think about that and you're like, we're just going to play golf and see how it goes?
No, you definitely, like, the second you stepped on property with all the rain that had gotten prior to the week, you knew that scores were going to be low. The greens can be a little tricky, but only if they're firmer and faster. And unfortunately, we just didn't have the conditions for that this past week. And so you knew you were going to have to make some birdies. The hard part is to get out of your own way and allow that to happen. Knowing you're going to have to make birdies and getting into a mindset of being aggressive, but also, taking things as they come, that's the difficult part on a week like that. And I did a really good job. I was, those first 2 rounds, I think I was like even or 1 over through 6 or 7 holes. And I was, at that point I'd be getting lapped. And so but I did a really good job of staying patient. I think the first round, I was 6 under in the first round. I think I shot 5 under on the backside. So I just stayed patient, just kept hitting shots, waiting for my time, took advantage of opportunities when I had them, and didn't do anything silly to take myself out of it. But it was a good week.
So what's next for you? You got some IKEA shelves to put together that we're going to see on Twitter this week? What's going on next?
You know what? My wife refrains from letting me know about projects until I actually make it home. I'm currently in Moline, Illinois for the John Deere Classic. So one more week on the road of hopefully another good solid play, and then we'll go back home and we'll see what kind of honey-do list she has put together for me.
Oh, it'll be waiting for you. You know that. And then, at some point you got to prep for the Open Championship too, right? Which is a completely different beast.
Yeah. Isn't
it? With the travel and time change and everything, or?
Hopefully. I'm currently still not in the Open. Mm-hmm. We're getting more information this week. I know they just had final qualifying today over there. And so we're just kind of waiting on an email from the people at the Open to give us a better idea of where I might stand. So I'm hopeful. Like I would have had 0 chance of getting to the Open if I hadn't done what I did last week. So
right.
I'm right there. I've told a few people, I think it's going to be one of those scenarios where I'm either the last person in or the second last person in, or potentially the first or second person out. So just awaiting for more details, but hopefully that call comes and I get to go play, because playing golf over there is so different, and it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Well, go low this week. We're all rooting for you. You do that, that'll take care of a lot of the business, as you know.